Hi, my name is Mrs. Gregg, and I'd like to welcome you to your first video lesson for biology. We're going to do a couple of these throughout the year, so I thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and get you acquainted with the format. All right, a little bit about me. This is my fourth year at Alexander, and I'm teaching biology and chemistry this year. I have a background in engineering. I worked as a chemical engineer for about 10 years before I had kids. And after I had kids, I decided that I really had a calling to be in education, to teach. So I went back to school, got my master's, and here I am. There's a little bit more about me there you can read. There's my family, my husband, 2 kids. They're both in middle school. All right, enough about me. What are we learning in biology this year? I would like for you to get out your syllabus, which looks like this, and also your classroom rules and procedures document, which looks like this. That way you can follow along. Okay, so back to the syllabus. In first period biology, we do have 2 teachers. My co-teacher, her name is Mrs. Rasco, and it's listed there at the top of the syllabus. She, like she's also on a second career. I believe she worked in a doctor's office prior to becoming a teacher. She does have a biology degree, so she's very knowledgeable, and she's a good resource. It's nice to have both of us in the classroom. But Ms. Rasco and I will be working closely with the entire class this year. Let's see, going on to what we are learning. The topics that we're going to cover in biology this year are biochemistry, biological diversity, the different varieties of organisms that there are in this world, the cell, genetics, evolution by natural selection, and ecology. And I'd like to emphasize that biology is a required course for graduation, and that it is an EOC class, meaning that at the end of the year we'll have a cumulative EOC that counts 20% of your final grade. And then talking about grading, if you look on down towards, I guess about the middle, second page. Second page of your syllabus is the grading plan that lays out exactly how you'll be graded in this class. So 50% of your grade will come from the major things like tests, lab reports, and projects. 30% of your grade will come from quizzes and then any kind of daily assignments like homework or classwork, participation, group work, that type of thing. And then the last thing is that 20% that comes from the EOC that I just discussed. As far as the grading scale, what's an A, B, C, D, and F, that should be carryover from middle school, same scale. Do pay attention, there is only one grade for a D, and that's a 70. All right, your supply list. What do you need to stay organized for this class? Because organization is key to succeeding in biology. Science moves very quickly. We have a lot of material to cover. I'm going to be giving you lots of information, and it's very essential that you hang on to all of that information so that you can study from it at the end of the year for that EOC. So you do need a 3-ring binder. I prefer that you have your own for this class, but if you want to share with another class, if social studies and, I don't know, Spanish or French or some other classes require you to keep a binder, then I'm okay with you sharing one single binder, a big binder with all those classes. Just make sure that you're keeping biology separate from everything else. Tab dividers will help you keep organized and help you keep things separate. You need paper, pens, the usual stuff. Colored pencils are very good in biology. We do some coloring, and that helps students to be able to visualize parts of things and to be able to visualize how processes work. For instance, we color parts of the cell to help you understand those, or maybe we will color certain steps in photosynthesis to help break down those steps and help you to understand them a little bit better. There's some other optional things there that you may want to get. At any rate, you want to make sure that you have all of your supplies by Monday the 14th, because that's when we're going to assemble our notebooks and really get going. All right, back onto the syllabus. Underneath the grading plan, there is a blurb about academic honesty. It's very important in high school not to cheat and not to plagiarize. So that section lays out what constitutes cheating. It lays out what constitutes plagiarism, and if you're caught doing either, there are consequences, which can range from getting a 0 on the assignment all the way to a referral to see an administrator. You do not want a discipline referral for cheating. Okay, so make sure that you understand that. I want you to do your own work, because that's the only way that you're going to learn. You absolutely have to do your own work. Cheating off of someone else means that you're only cheating yourself. Okay, so do your own work in this class. It's very, very important. Makeup work. That's the next section. So if you are absent, Now, you should not plan on being absent very much because absences put you behind. So it's very important that you're in class every single day unless you're extremely ill or there's some kind of an emergency. Okay, so if you are absent, though, I know that those things happen and you have to be absent sometimes. If you are absent, it is your responsibility to stay on top of what you've missed. I'm not going to come hunt you down and say you were absent yesterday. Here are all of these things that you missed. It is your responsibility to get those things yourself. Okay, and one of the ways that we take care of that is with end grade. You should have used end grade in middle school. If not, don't worry. I'll make sure that you understand how it's set up. But it is an online program that we use for testing, and I also use in order to share assignments. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what end grade looks like for our class. We use things called wikis that work like web pages, and they're accessed in end grade. So once you log in with your login and password, you'll be able to pull up wikis, and you can find one for biology. The biology wiki is organized according to unit. There's also a calendar that shows what we're doing that week, what we're planning on doing, or what we have accomplished that day. So the first thing, if you were absent, you check the calendar, see what we did that day. And then you'd go to the unit. I'm just going to pull up Unit 1 here as an example. You would go to the unit, and there's a table of contents at the top of that unit. This is exactly how I organized. So if you check the calendar and you see that you missed the properties of water practice, item number 9, you were absent that day, then go ahead that day that you were absent, click on that. You would be able to pull up the document. You would be able to print it out at home. Go ahead and work on it as best you can at home that day that you're absent so that you're not falling too far behind. Okay, that's the ideal, is that you check end grade, see what you missed that day, and go ahead and work on it at night before you get back to class so that you don't fall behind. I do understand that you may not be able to do that. You may not be able to print things out from home. If you can't, I do keep a binder in class of everything that we do, and I'll show you where those are on the countertop, but students are allowed to access those binders. So if you were absent, you weren't able to take care of it at home that night, then first thing, whenever you get in, the following day, whenever you return, make sure that you check that binder. Now, we're first period. I prefer that you check that before school. You'll be able to come in 5 minutes earlier, so check that before the bell rings. Make sure that you find whatever it was that you missed. Ask a student to help you out. If Ms. Rasco's in the room, ask her to help me out, or ask me. But help yourself to whatever you've missed that day, and then you'll be able to work on it. You won't fall too far behind. Okay. But any missed assignments will be in there in the binder, but what I prefer that you do is that you access end grade and take care of that at home. Okay, makeup test. If you're absent for a test, makeups are given on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can schedule that with me. Ms. Rasco may have a different, I think she usually does them in the morning, but if you would, we can check with her and see exactly what her schedule is. But you can makeup test either with me or Ms. Rasco, but I'll be available on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the afternoons for makeups. Quizzes. We give quizzes pretty frequently, and they aren't a major part of your grade. And we do drop a lowest quiz grade. So what we're going to try this year is to not do makeup quizzes. You'll still have access to the material, so you know what you missed if you took a quiz. But the idea with quizzes is that you get the feedback, you get the information to see what you missed, what you got right, that you get that back immediately to help you learn. And if we have lots of people who are absent for a quiz, it makes it awfully hard for us to get those papers graded and back to students in a timely fashion, so that the quiz is really good for what it's intended to do, to help you learn. If I have to hang on to quizzes for a week before we can return them, then you've kind of missed the point of a quiz. Quizzes should give you pretty much immediate feedback to let you know what you're learning. So we're not going to do makeup quizzes. Like I said, if you miss one quiz, no big deal. We're going to drop one quiz grade, so that just becomes the dropped grade. If you miss 2 or 3 quizzes, then what happens is that quiz that you missed, that grade, is going to be replaced with the test grade from that unit. So you'll have a missing assignment in the grade book until we take the test for that unit. It could be 2 or 3 weeks later. And then whatever grade you make on the test, we'll go back and we'll replace that missing grade on the quiz with that test. All right, late work. You really do not want to be in the habit of doing late work. If we give you an assignment, you just make sure that you complete it in a timely fashion and get it turned in on the due date. Now, we understand that there are extenuating circumstances, that sometimes things happen. So if you don't turn in an assignment, it's going to be flagged as missing, which means you have a 0 in the grade book for it. Zeros are very detrimental to your grade. Zeros will kill your grade. So you don't want those missing assignments. Even if you turn it in late, that's fine. But ideally, again, you want to turn them in on time. Late work, we will accept late work, but we really want you to make sure that you get it turned in on time. The whole purpose of work is to make sure that you're learning. All right, but if you regularly fail to complete your assignments, if you are always turning in late work, or if you have a bunch of missing assignments, then what we're going to have to do is assign Saturday school for you to make up that incomplete work, because you just cannot miss work in biology and expect to do well. And our goal is to help you to do well. We want to make sure that you're doing well, and you absolutely have to do all of your work. So if you're in the habit of not doing your work, you will make it up at some point, and you don't want to make it up on a Saturday. All right, moving on to the class resources. Like I said, in grade, we'll go over in class how to get into in grade and how to access all that. But you want to be checking it regularly at home. Even if you weren't absent, even if you, say we watched a video or something in class and you think, I'd really like to watch that again. I didn't quite get all of it. So the video will be posted in grade so you can access it and watch it at home. Okay, or any kind of presentations to do in class, any kind of notes, all of that stuff will be in grade so you can access it at home. The other thing, we use Remind text messaging a lot. The code is there. Do make sure that you sign up for it, and parents are welcome to sign up as well. We'll text you whenever, if you have a test or you have some kind of homework, we'll text you to remind you. So you do want to sign up for Remind. All right, the rules. Make sure that you have out your rules document, which looks like this one. Okay, we're going to talk about the rules here, and we'll talk about the procedures about how we do things on a daily basis in class. So we're just going to go over the rules here. We'll also talk about them in class too. The first one is that you follow directions immediately the first time they're given. The second one is that you are in your assigned seat and ready to work when the tardy bell rings. We only have 45 minutes in class, so it's very important that we use all of our class time wisely. That means that you are ready to go when that bell rings. You'll have a warm-up every morning. Make sure that you have your notebook open, working on that warm-up when the bell rings. Number 3, make sure that you are always prepared, that you have your notebook, paper, something to write with, your homework if you had it. Have all of that. Always be prepared whenever you come to class. Number 4, remain quiet while the teacher is talking, whether that's me or Ms. Rasco. Make sure that you're quiet. Give us respect while we are talking. Number 5 is to raise your hand and ask for permission to speak. This is important during discussions. If we're having a classroom discussion, we don't want to be talking over each other. So make sure that you are raising your hand to let us know that you'd like to add something. Or if you need to leave your seat, make sure that you're raising your hand to let us know where you're headed to get permission to leave your seat. You should be seated at all times unless we have given you permission to leave your seat. The last one concerns cell phones. Cell phones are too much of a distraction. Our goal is to make sure that you understand biology, and we can't compete with cell phones. So the procedure is that whenever you come in class, you deposit your cell phone in the organizer at the front. It's numbered. You'll be assigned a number. You deposit your cell phone in that numbered slot, and then whenever you leave, when the bell rings, you pick your cell phone up. And that's the way we are going to handle cell phones. Okay, what are the consequences if you disobey the rules? These are progressive. If it's something minor, we're going to warn you. If you just can't control yourself and you're talking to your buddy all the time, then we'll give you a new seat assignment. We'll separate you, move somebody up front. Detention after class. We may hold you after class to have a discussion about your behavior. If you have serious problems with behavior, then we will make a phone call home. If you're an athlete, we may call your coach. We can have detention after school, and then the most severe is a referral to an administrator. You do not want an administrative referral. Okay, your homework. The syllabus and the classroom rules and procedures, I want you to read through them thoroughly. Make sure that you read every line. Show it to your parents. Go over it with your parents. Both of you should sign it, acknowledging that you have read it and you understand. Sign up for Remind text messaging if you haven't already, and then purchase those supplies that I just talked about. Because we will start organizing notebooks on Monday the 14th. I'm looking forward to a great year with you. and we will see you in class.